we have to read between the lines of the statements, whether of the MEA or the MOD, primarily because it seems that the government of India is now trying to retrieve lost ground, having not had much success in all their initiatives with the Chinese, whether it was to try and talk to them directly, whether it was to kind of downplay the incursions. So the MEA is downplaying it, whereas the MOD is trying to convey to China that we could resort to a military response. The bottom line, as far as I'm concerned, is the bigger question that is Aksai Chin worth going to war with? Now, we seem to be repeating both the experience of the 60s and the 90s when the Kargil intrusion took place, and Kargil Divas is just around the corner. Quite clearly, the existing system has failed to deliver because we had left everything to a promise by many of our so-called China experts that we could get China to accept the Indian position just by talking to them and through diplomacy. China has shown complete disregard for all the systems that were in place. So even the economic initiatives that we have tried to put in place are only going to work that much and no more. We have to do a reality check in which we have to set down timelines for ourselves that will the boundary delineation be possible in a 1 year or 2 year time frame, or at least till the Modi government lasts. It is okay to be muscular against Pakistan, which is a defeatable enemy. But do you become muscular against China, which is not a beatable enemy? I mean, you can at most give them tough blows on their nose and make them bleed. But winning territory back from either them or the Pakistani held POK, which has been a kind of chest thumping promise of this government, in reality is a no-no as far as I'm concerned. The past experience has not been completely encouraging. There may be a lot of statements coming by top-end people in Washington, including Mr. Trump, but the reality is that America is going into a strategic overstretch, which means that it is trying to threaten China on 3 fronts, if not more. So 3 fronts is one, that China should not do any territorial takeover in Taiwan, which China wants to. America will strongly oppose China's further activities. America's relationship with Pakistan and how we thought we could corner Pakistan completely, but Pakistan hasn't collapsed, it's thriving. And America, therefore, has many other trade linkages with China that it cannot abandon all of it for India's sake. So it can make threats, but at the end of the day, we have to fight our own battles. And I think the military commanders, if given the freedom, have options in place to roll out and catch China militarily in a tight spot with or without America. There is something called a revolving door strategy on the Himalayas, which means if China makes incursions at one place, you make incursions at another place. And China will then have to pull back and make a choice between whether they want Aksai Chin and whether they want India to hold on to other portion, or they want to go back to earlier lines, status quo ante, that is April of this year. The other is you step up your maritime pressure on China through the use of the Navy, and you just, if your economic embargoes on Chinese products are not working, and I don't think they're going to work because of the huge dependency on Chinese products. 90% cell phones come from China, 90% computers and ACs come from China, more than 90% pharmaceutical stuff comes from China, and there are many other elements. Southeast Asian countries, which are the ASEAN countries, where China has made huge inroads, investments, etc., are a divided lot when it comes to dealing with China. There are those who have stood up against the Chinese. that is Philippines, Vietnam, and even possibly to some extent one or two other countries which are part there, part not there. But there are many other countries with which China has made massive investments. I mean, Myanmar is one. The other one could be the countries like which are under fear of China's military threats, like countries like Laos. But nobody is really willing to stand up and defy the Chinese because their own experience with India has been that India makes a lot of promises but it doesn't deliver. There's one thing for the leaders of the country to go and make announcements there that they are another strategic partner. I mean, we've got 22 or more strategic partnerships, except for Russia, which is a long-standing strategic partner, and France. Nobody else, I feel, is in a position to deliver to our foreign policy and strategic goals. Yes, Japan is, but Japan is not a part of Southeast Asia, it's East Asia. It has the guts, it has the resources to stand up to the Chinese. So these are the countries that you have to identify, 2 or 3 countries, and put pressure on China, just like China has identified your weak spots on the Himalaya and put pressure on you. The government was in a state of bliss that what the diplomats and ex-diplomats were telling the government that, China is a neighbor that you can cultivate. America did that with China for donkey's years, only to realize that China could not be part of the dance of democracies. The second thing is the military commanders again took centers directions on COVID restrictions very seriously. If you've got soldiers who are willing to die in a hand-to-hand battle, you're so worried that 1 or 2 guys had got COVID in the Ladakh sector that you called off your military operational deployment and you were too busy covering your mask and your bloody eyes. Instead, you allowed the Chinese to build up out there and then you turn around and say, oh, they've taken us by surprise. The damn threat existed for more than 25 years. I mean, George Fernandez said it in 95 or so, that China is enemy number 1. I'm on record to say that Pakistan will remain your irritant. China is your big threat. And China has built up Pakistan as a counter to any Indian military moves should we decide to go in and reclaim the territory that they are physically holding. We haven't gone in there for an attack and lost 20 people. I mean, you don't lose 20 people in a serious attack on China. You lose maybe 200 upwards. So if you think that's a cost worth paying, then we have to realize that the current dispensation is not capable of finding a solution to long-standing territorial issues unless they are going to make dramatic turns away from the line that South Bloc has been too used to following.